This terrible price action in crypto has given us pause and forced us to ask a tough question. Should we continue to cover Bitcoin? And the answer is sadly no.
What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. What an insane week for Bitcoin, spiking over 25% on the ETF craze. And today we also have some breaking news. Stick around for that. But you can see right here, we are looking like we're trying to push higher. Now, it is the weekend, so do be careful. You know, some of these price actions can get a little bit crazy, but I do want to talk about how Bitcoin could potentially be setting up for another big move. We have a major shift happening right now in the markets, and it's pretty incredible because not only technically have we seen gold continuing to go sideways, we also have the stock market, you know, continuing to sort of move to the downside. We are seeing Bitcoin pump, but there's something even bigger going on right now, and it has nothing to do with the technicals at all. Also, you're not going to believe what the IMF just came out and said. Now, keep in mind, they were encouraging countries to ban cryptocurrencies, you know, just a little bit ago. Wait till you see what they said now. And another thing that a lot of people have been asking me is my opinion on whether or not we're going to see Bitcoin go back to some of these lower lows. Will you have an opportunity to buy cheaper? Well, I'm going to discuss why that window may potentially be closing, especially if what seems like it's going to end up happening does end up happening. And finally, I do want to talk about the BlackRock ETF, and is it really significant, or is it just a bunch of smoke and mirrors? So if that sounds good to you, thank you again for coming back. Get subscribed if you haven't yet. Let's dive in as usual. We're going to start with the charts because it does look like to me like Bitcoin is potentially looking to break higher to the upside right now. So I could see Bitcoin breaching that $31,000 level. Now, why? Well, you can see right here on this smaller time frame, we keep pushing up. Now, obviously, this is a 4-hour, and you know, I say like the lower, like right now we're breaching above it, right? So, you know, we could just move this up here. Is it going to stop there? I don't know. My point is that there was the news that came out about Coinbase, and we'll get to that in just a bit. But, you know, like I said, it does look like potentially we could be looking to break to the upside because look what just happened. Look what just happened, guys. We had the green, right? And remember, we were getting a little bit worried about what was going on with this on the daily, right? But then you could see right here, we actually went back into the green and boom. Look, we just got that teal and then the confirmation, right? And I'm starting to see this curve over on this wave edge, and the money flow on the daily could be looking like it wants to enter the green. Of course, we're waiting for the big weekly close. That's the most important candle right now, is we have to see where this weekly close closes. If we close above, basically if we close where we are right now at the time that I'm making this video, then I am going to flip very bullish on Bitcoin. But I do want to show you something interesting. So you know how we usually look at the log? If you actually take it to the linear, I do just want to point out, if we take the peak right here, and you can see we hit this 0.618 right here at the little fake out. This was back in June of 2019 where Bitcoin tried to rally back up, but we only got up to about that $14,000 level. Look at this, guys. If you take this and extend this right here, you actually see that. And now keep in mind, this is on the linear, okay? Look at what we get right here. So we have this all-time high. Then we have this candle right here where you could see we got massive rejection, but then we did end up pumping. Look at this. Terra Luna crash. Boom. We touched the level again. And for the past 4 months, look at where we keep getting held down by. So I'm definitely saying that if we can break and hold above this, that would put us closing above the 1.618, this blue area. That opens up a target for literally Bitcoin coming up to here around $47,000. And you could see how strong this move was holding up. And we have, thus far, we've gotten confirmation, and it does look like this EMA ribbon, like back here it twisted, that was bad. Well, right here, we're twisting, flipping them, and once they cross over, the yellow goes on top, the red switches to the bottom, you're basically on a bull, you're in a bull trend, you know what I'm saying? And again, the MACD looks like it's going to cross. So we have so many things that we're waiting for to see what happens. I don't take the weekends that seriously. Be careful trading. You can get a lot of lower liquidity, crazy spikes and stuff. But this is looking like we're having everything about to flip. And of course, just, basic, like a 5-year-old chart. Look at that. Perfectly above that downward sloping parallel trend. So having a look right here, again, people asking, is it too late? And again, by the way, guys, if you do want to learn how to trade, you had a lot of time to practice, okay? We may be entering into a crazy volatile phase now. And if we get confirmation on these uptrends, you're going to want to be subscribed, because I don't like to, shill or talk or whatever. And I don't give signals on this channel. But guys, we have absolutely killed it these past few years, especially on these uptrends. They are so easy to trade, okay? So just make sure you get subscribed. If you do want to learn how to trade, tutorials popping up above. Check all the links below in the description below this video. Those are the official links. You can get up to $56,000 in bonuses, all different options. BitGet is cool, Apex, all that different stuff. Check it out, guys. So what is Bit Harrington saying? Well, if you have a look historically, down here is the, 2/3 below all-time high, and this is like the golden buy zone, right? And obviously COVID was a black swan, we know that, right? But if we hadn't had COVID, you could see that we probably would have stayed above that level, and currently we are back above that level again. So basically, in a nutshell, if you're waiting for lower prices, could we get it? Could there be a black swan? Yes, but the likelihood of going back down and retesting those is becoming less and less and less. I mean, don't forget, guys, this always happens, right? Look what happened 5 years ago on CNBC.
This terrible price action in crypto has given us pause and forced us to ask a tough question. Should we continue to cover Bitcoin? And the answer is sadly no.
So that's right, guys. Unfortunately, 5 years ago, they decided to stop covering Bitcoin. Obviously, we know what happened next. They still cover Bitcoin to this day. But again, Bitcoin goes down, it's dead. Bitcoin goes up, it's the future. Ignore the noise. We already know what is going to happen. Now, listen to this. The IMF, right? So they literally, just to put this into perspective. So they claim that Argentina has prohibited crypto use over concerns of financial stability, financial crimes, and corruption. The reality is the IMF forced Argentina to block crypto use in return for an IMF loan that Argentina badly needed through a deal clause. Now, keep in mind, this happened in the past. So today, they say, this is what they say, crypto ban may not be the best approach to balance risk. Now, they were saying that banning crypto should be an option or could be an option. Now they're saying banning crypto may not be the best way of mitigating the associated risks. The IMF said just months after suggesting that approach as an option, because it would also prevent countries gaining the associated benefits. So, quote, they say, while a few countries have completely banned crypto assets given their risks, this approach may not be effective in the long run. The region should instead be focusing on addressing the drivers of crypto demand, including citizens' unmet digital payment needs, and on improving transparency by recording crypto asset transactions in national statistics. And you can see this is the official, thing right here. So the IMF is now actually coming out and saying, hey, you know what? Maybe banning crypto doesn't make any sense. Maybe we need to learn to, mitigate it a little bit and focus on unmet digital payment needs. Wow, if that isn't a 180 right there. But that's not all, guys. I don't know if you watched the Fed Chair Powell. He was speaking, on this thing on Wednesday in front of the House, whatever they're called. And he said that the U.S. central bank should play a robust federal role in overseeing stablecoins, a sizable slice of the overall crypto market that legislators are trying to craft rules for. Powell also remarked that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin have staying power. Okay, very interesting. Now, of course, you do have still some of the disbelievers, like you have Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He's the author of Black Swan.
At least with Federal Reserve, we have transparency. We know what's going on. We can influence it. There's a system. But with crypto, tend to concentrate among big players.
Ah, yes, the transparency of the Fed. Will Clemente says, Taleb claims that Bitcoin is concentrated in big players' hands, but let's have a look at the actual data. The reality is that more Bitcoin is currently held by on-chain entities with less than 10 Bitcoin than ever before and climbing rapidly, basically showing that more retail, right, potentially has a lot of Bitcoin. So it is getting dispersed. And, that's why you got to be careful, because when you sell to these bigger entities, they're just gobbling it up. But you're also seeing just, these different senators, politicians, U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy outlining policies that support Bitcoin and self-sovereignty. He was speaking Tuesday to the New York Post, and he said that he would, if he was elected, he would introduce policies that support Bitcoin and the freedom to transact and that allow individuals to manage their own Bitcoin wallets, nodes, and passwords. He added that he would endorse a light touch regulatory environment in the US with the only narrowest amount of controls necessary to prevent money laundering. So that's pretty interesting to hear that. It sounds like he really does care about protection. Also, we had Coinbase CEO at the State of Crypto Summit highlighting the importance of the upcoming presidential election for the future of the crypto market. He said, frankly, the 2024 election is also a factor here because it's kind of politically unpopular to be anti-crypto right now. And we saw what happened to Elizabeth Warren. She had supporters that were actually underneath her tweet saying, I usually support what you say, but I can't support this anti-crypto stance. It's completely backwards, and it's not the way that the country is going to actually successfully move forward. So here's the big news. This was the breaking news. This came out just before I turned the camera on. This news just broke, so maybe this there's more to it. But right now, the U.S. Supreme Court has sided with Coinbase, with a Coinbase unit in a ruling that reinforces the ability of companies to channel customer and employee disputes into arbitration. So that rules for Coinbase in its bid to halt court proceedings as company seeks to move customer litigation into arbitration, which essentially means they don't have to deal with this in court. They can deal with it outside of court. And obviously maybe the court is in a way saying, well, yeah, this is a little bit ridiculous, chill. And like I said, it's breaking. I'm sure there's more that's going to come out, but that was good news on the day. Now, BlackRock, although they are filing for the ETF, they have come out. It was their, who is this over here that said it? Their head of strategic partnerships, basically saying that they foresee a long road to institutional DeFi adoption. Now, it's not because they themselves are being pessimistic. They were basically just like, these things take a really long time. Unfortunately, in the US, we are positive thinking forward, but it may take a while, right? And unfortunately, people want things to happen overnight, yet, Ethereum's been around for basically a decade now, and they still won't tell us if it's a security or not. Come on, guys, it's been a decade, right? So that's the stuff that we're talking about here. Now, as far as the conspiracy, smoke and mirrors, this is something interesting from Nick Carter. So he goes on to say, having no special insight into the situation, here's how I'm interpreting the BlackRock ETF filing. SEC is under significant pressure given recent assaults on the industry and wants to give the industry a perceived win to take the political heat off, and is doing that by letting the grown-ups in now that crypto native firms have been defanged with various enforcement actions, or SEC guided BlackRock to get in line, expecting an adverse outcome in the GBTC case. Likely BlackRock will just end up taking the place of GBTC with higher fees. So yeah, could it be a perceived win? If they do approve it, is it just they're kind of, who knows, right? But at the end of the day, perceived win or not, the institutional interest, once an ETF eventually finally is approved, if it is approved, who knows, it might not be approved. At this point, I don't even know how many ETFs have 30, 40, 60, somebody correct me, a lot, okay? I know the Winklevoss, they had filed for an ETF in 2013. Now it's not pending anymore. But, basically in a nutshell, I got to end on the real news, the real world news, because we always get sucked up in the crypto space and how, it's so convoluted and all the stuff that we're doing. Well, how about the fact that JP Morgan Chase accidentally just deleted 47 million electronic records containing messages related to ongoing investigations by the SEC. As a result, the bank has agreed, to pay a $4 million fine. Oh no, a $4 million fine. That's so much for JP Morgan. These records were involving emails, instant messages. I mean, come on. We accidentally deleted millions of records. Come on, guys. But the crypto guys, we're the bad guys, right? Funniest thing is you have Brian Armstrong, who has literally been trying to contact Gary Gensler for like 2 straight years. And they just conveniently keep missing each other, or Gary can't make the meeting, or he can't get back. But yet over here, we know that Gary had multiple meetings with FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, right? Multiple meetings, and yet that one collapsed, but he will not meet with Coinbase. I mean, crazy stuff. I think you guys know. If you do want to get your crypto off exchanges, I do recommend Engrave. I still like my Ledger Nano S. I mean, if you have the old one, just don't update it until this whole thing blows over. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful and beautiful day. I do think we're going to have a big move for Bitcoin soon. We are pushing up on that area right there. It is the weekend, though, so be careful. You could see some crazy volatility. But again, we got to see what happens at the end of this week. I'm very, very excited to see what the charts are going to end up telling us by Monday. So that being said, you guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos. Have a wonderful, beautiful start to your weekend. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. And if you do want to trade, I highly recommend you take advantage of the bonuses below in the description and watch one of these videos or any of them below. You can check out the recommended. Until next time, guys, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.